Today we have championship case number 5. Of course, as I say in every single one of these videos, but if you are new to this series, I do a video on all 16 playoff drivers, give them a championship case, why they're going to win the championship. We've already gone through Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. Today, though, is driver of the number... Oh, wrong way. Oh, still the wrong way. Driver of the number 8 car, Kyle Busch. Yes, Kyle Busch is in his first season with Richard Childress Racing. That whole drama last summer with the Joe Gibbs Racing, and that ended up ending his career at Joe Gibbs Racing. And now he is at Richard Childress Racing, and this season he has 3 wins. That first one came at Auto Club very quickly in the season. The second one in very wild fashion, Talladega. Yeah, that was just, what a race. And then the third one coming at Gateway. So his stats this season, as I said, the 3 wins, 8 top 5s, 13 top 10s, which is the second most in the Cup Series. He has 2 stage wins and currently has 17 playoff points, but he sits 11th in the regular season standing. So if he can get into that top 10 for the regular season standings, he gets some extra bonus points, some extra playoff points. And that's what he needs. He needs some playoff points. You need those things. Those are important. There's no such thing as too many of them. Just ask Kevin Harvick back in 2020. So getting playoff points, focusing these next 2 weeks on Watkins Glen, Daytona, trying to get some regular season points, jumping ahead of Chris Buescher and some other guys. Try to get as many regular season points as possible. So that is goal number 1 for Kyle Busch before the playoffs even start. But then we look at the playoff schedule. Now, this is different than most of the playoff championship cases I give because this is a new situation for Kyle Busch. It's a new team, a new car, and it's kind of really different to really compare his stats, I feel like. So we're just going to kind of go through this here. First round, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. Darlington last year, the 8 car, finished 3rd in this race. Kyle Busch himself in the 18 car led a bunch of laps, was in position to win before his engine blew up. Kansas is a great track for the 8 car. Bristol's a great track for Kyle Busch. So he has 17 points, which isn't huge. That's not a lot, but I think he should be able to get out of that first round. 2 really good tracks for him there. All 3 of those tracks he's won at, but I think he should be fine in that first round. Just, you know, don't crash, just to be safe. Second round is a wild card round. Kyle Busch has multiple wins at Texas Motor Speedway. He's the most recent winner at Talladega. And then there's the Charlotte Roval, which he has not won at. So this is a wild card round. This is my most concerned round for everybody, I feel like, just because it is a wild card round. Texas last year, it was a tire lottery, essentially. But the 8 car did win with Tyler Reddick. So, you know, they had speed. They didn't blow any tires, but they did do a tire test. So I'm curious to see what the pace of the 8 car is going to be here. The 8 car has been pretty good at the intermediates this year. Kyle Busch has been. You look at Auto Club, obviously he dominated that race, led a bunch of laps, ended up winning. So yeah, I mean, this could be a good track for him. As I said, he's won at this track multiple times, whether it's the old configuration, the new configuration. Texas is a track he's run well at. The 8 car is the defending winner. He could very well contend for the win here, and he might need to because the Super Speedway of Talladega is next. Yes, he is the most recent winner there. But prior to that win, Super Speedways had been bad to Kyle Busch for about 15 years. Maybe a little bit less, but let's call it 10 to 15 years. Kyle Busch had not won at Talladega since 2008 prior to April of 2023. I can't even remember the last time he won at Daytona, but he's never won a 500. But I will say, as bad as the Super Speedway performances have been over the last decade or so, since he's joined RCR, it has gotten better. He was contending for the win in the Daytona 500. In fact, he led on mile 500 before there was a caution. And he won at Talladega. He's put himself in position to win. So whether it's the RCR side of things, whether it's just Kyle Busch being revamped and suddenly he's picked up on the Super Speedway thing, I don't know what it is, but Kyle Busch seems to do better at the super speedway since he has joined RCR. Of course, RCR finished 1-2 at Daytona last year in the fall race. Maybe they'll do the same thing again. But Kyle Busch, it's still Talladega. You still never know. Then there's the Roval. Kyle Busch has never won at the Roval. It's been a while since he's won at a road course. It's been since 2015 at Sonoma. So Kyle Busch, usually a pretty solid road racer. He was running top 5 at Indianapolis this past week before they had some mechanical problems. So he's shown speed at road courses. The 8 car over the last 2 years has shown speed at road courses. So I expect them really to be top 5 in this race. Yes, you're probably going to see guys like Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott contending for the win. But after that, I would say Kyle Busch is kind of in that second group, if you know what I'm talking about. So I would expect him to be in that 5th to 7th range. But Kyle Busch, honestly, I'm convincing myself that he's going to get out of the second round. Texas is a track he's been good at. The 8 car is the defending winner. He's improved at super speedways since joining RCR. I know it's a really small sample size, but he has. And then there's the Roval, and, you know, the road courses have been good to the 8 car the last 2 years, and Kyle Busch has shown some speed at the road courses as well. So, Kyle Busch, I know they haven't done great with the short track package, and that includes the road courses, but Indianapolis was promising. So, I think it's very possible that they could get out of that round. Maybe even without problems. Just don't wreck at Talladega. Then there's the round of 8. You got Kyle Busch's home track at Las Vegas. You've got Homestead and you've got Martinsville. Vegas, Homestead, both 1.5 miles intermediate tracks. As we talked about earlier, the 8 car Kyle Busch has been good at these intermediate tracks with that win at Auto Club. Gateway, is that an intermediate track? What is Gateway? It depends on what we identify Gateway as. But still, Kyle Busch, I think he ran top 10 at Las Vegas in the spring. Last year, I think he was top 10 at Homestead. I think the 8 car had a mechanical problem, so kind of tough to put the two together at Homestead. But of course, as I said, with the speed that the 8 car and Kyle Busch have shown at 1.5 miles at intermediate tracks, I think it's very possible that they could very well contend for the wins here. Kyle Busch has won at both tracks. In fact, Kyle Busch is one of 2 repeat champions in this elimination format, and he won both of his championships at Homestead, Miami back in 2015 and 2019. So Kyle Busch, can he win to get into the championship 4 there? Then you got Martinsville, and this is where it's a little bit of a concern. They've really struggled with their short track package this year. Just not a lot of speed, not up front, not even top 10 or anything. But the last short track we were at, Richmond, Kyle Busch finished 3rd. So they did something right in terms of changes. Things are doing a little bit better. I want to see more results in multiple short track instances before. But if they can continue that speed, Martinsville's a track that Kyle Busch has run well at in his career. He's got a few wins there. So you never know. But this round of 8, I think they're going to have to lean heavily on those first 2 races. Just because Martinsville, I think there will be cars better than them. I expect Hamlin, Truex, if Larson's in there, Byron's in there, even if, you know, like a Christopher Bell is in there, a Arash Chastain is in there, you know, I expect those guys to be better at Martinsville. It's nothing against Kyle Busch. It's just the short track package for RCR has been so inconsistent. So without the consistent results there, it's just I don't trust that team right now on the short tracks. And with Martinsville being an elimination race, that's really tough. So for Vegas and Homestead, I think they're going to have to run top 5, gain some points. They're not going to have a big buffer to the cutoff line with only 17 points. If they can build up a little bit more of a gap, then maybe we'll see. But yeah, then it's on to Phoenix. Championship race now at Phoenix Raceway. Back when Kyle Busch won his championships, as I said earlier, Homestead Miami Speedway is where that championship was. Kyle Busch, I think that's something he's got going for him. I think I forgot to say this with Larson yesterday, but I personally think it's a big advantage to be someone who's not only made the Final 4 before, but has won in the Championship 4 format before, and Kyle Busch has done it twice. So I think that's really double the advantage. He knows what it's like to be under that pressure. He knows what it's like to succeed under that pressure. And I think that's something that he carries with him as an advantage. And at Phoenix, he ran top 10 in the spring, finished 8th. Chevy dominated that race, though, with Hendrick Motorsports, with Kyle Larson and William Byron. And side note reference that really doesn't have any relevance to Kyle Busch's speed this year, but Kevin Harvick, it's his last year. Back from 2001 to 2013, he was with Richard Childress Racing. Over a decade long, he was known for being at RCR. Every time you thought of Kevin Harvick, you thought of the 29 car. Well, Kevin Harvick left at the end of 2013, and then in 2014 joined Stewart-Haas Racing. What did he do in that first year with Stewart-Haas Racing? He won the championship. It's a pretty big deal. It's a really big deal. For his first year out of Richard Childress Racing, he wins the championship. Well, Kyle Busch has been at JGR for 15 years, just over a decade, or decade and a half, really. And now it's his first year out of Joe Gibbs Racing. Everyone knows Kyle Busch for the M&M's car, for being in the number 18 Toyota. And then he leaves for Richard Childress Racing, a new start. Can he do it? Can he do what Harvick did just almost a decade ago and win a championship in his first year with a new team? We will see. But yes, that's a championship case for Kyle Busch. So in conclusion, first round, he should be fine. Second round could get tricky. I feel like I've said that with everyone now. I promise you, once we get to some of these other guys, the second round is going to be their opportunity. But the second round, if he can just run well at Texas and the Roval and survive Talladega, he'll be fine. And then that third round, I think he's going to really have to lean on Homestead and Vegas. The short track package for RCR has just been too inconsistent this year. And I think maybe you win at those first two races, but if they can show the speed that they did at Richmond, then maybe they can rely on Martinsville. And then at Phoenix, of course, anything is possible. But he showed speed in the spring, top 10 speed in the spring. Chevy won that race, so maybe Chevy gives them some more resources if they make the Final Four than usual. And yeah, maybe he does what Harvick did in 2014, wins a championship his first year with his new team. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. We got another one of these tomorrow. I got a schedule in the community post. Go check it out. I can't remember. I think it's Christopher Bell. It could be Chastain, it could be Buescher, but thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you've missed any of the championship case videos, please go to the playlist in the playlist section. It will be in there if you're a Mark Truex Jr. fan, if you're a William Byron fan, or another fan of someone that we haven't gone through yet. Check that playlist. We will be doing this every weekday. So once again, the post will update you on the schedule and all that, but have a great rest of your day.